Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for coming back. This is Crypto Conversation, and there's a lot been happening in the cryptocurrency space right now. In terms of the coin market, the prices of the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies started going up, and there's a lot of news around it. The best part that we found today, this morning, is Bitcoin going up to 15,424, which is amazing because you know what? What happens is when a lot of positivity of cryptocurrency depends on the Bitcoin, so the Bitcoin being the first digital currency, if the Bitcoin is doing good, everyone thinks, okay, we are awesome, we are good. And if the Bitcoin price falls, then everyone is worried, because anyway people keep calling Bitcoin a bubble, so it does start worrying. So good thing right now is that Bitcoin has started coming up once again, 15,424. We're going to cover this. We're also going to cover some of the news and happenings around the globe, because that's really important. And there's a lot of news, honestly. So one of the news around share is Winklevoss brother. He says that even if Bitcoin price hits $380,000, he's not going to sell his Bitcoin. Guys, look at this. I mean, we see people calling it a Bitcoin a bubble and saying that Bitcoin price will come back to zero. And these guys are so positive that they not only think that Bitcoin will touch $1 million, but they think that they are not going to even sell Bitcoin even at this price. We're going to discuss a little bit about this. The Israelis coming up with their own cryptocurrency, which is a national cryptocurrency, just like Russia and India has announced. So I want to just talk about a little bit about what happens to these national cryptocurrencies. I just want to give you my opinion as to what do I really think about national cryptocurrencies, which are basically a centralized and not a decentralized currency. Correct. The whole idea of a cryptocurrency is to become it to make it decentralized. And so yeah, just my opinion of what I think. And also the South Korean government is concerned with the scams in Bitcoin market and fake exchanges, which is, by the way, the biggest concern right here in India as well. So we're going to cover a lot of news. It's going to be like 5 to 6 news that's I think is important. We're going to go through all of them. So thank you so much once again for coming back. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on important updates. I'm also going to cover a Verge video, because there has been a lot of question what exactly Verge is, why the price is going up. So we're going to cover all that in the next video. But look at the coinmarketcap.com. Don't you like green colors here? Look at this. 10% up, 3% up, 6% up, 9% up, 1% up, 11% up, 11% up. Isn't it amazing? So it's great to be a part of this ecosystem at such an early stage, which is growing every day. We must say that we are very fortunate. We are fortunate enough to be a part of this ecosystem at such an early stage, and are able to participate in this growing economy, so which is amazing. So let's have a look at the price. Bitcoin, right? Let's have a look at the price. What exactly happened in the Bitcoin price chart? So last week, if you just look at the chart for the last week, last 7 days, wow, this looks amazing to me. So I mean, a lot of people did fear about what exactly happened with the Bitcoin price, because all of a sudden it dropped down from 19,000 to 11,000, 12,000, and people were worried. A lot of people actually sold their Bitcoins. But now exactly they would know that that wasn't probably the right decision, because this is something which is pretty normal in cryptocurrency, and especially in Bitcoin space. So if you look at the price of the Bitcoin with USD, this is how it looks like. So you can see the parabolic movement here, right from 19,000, right? It was 19,083 is the last one that we touched. And I do think that this time, once it starts growing up, it should cross at least 20K. So 19 was the highest. And then what happened? Look at the price. It started dropping in. It came down to as low as 12,185. And people were worried as to what exactly happening. And started picking up again, 13, 14. And then again on 15, it dropped a little bit. And right now, again, we are at 1560.25. So the holiday season are getting over right now. The Christmas is over. I think this is what happened, similar to what happened last year. So at the end of, towards the end of December, the prices started rising. And in the January, on January 1st or 2nd of 2017, the price was about $1,000. So this is how the Bitcoin price has behaved, and when the Bitcoin price goes up, it brings a lot of positivity for sure, because there are people who value the whole cryptocurrency market space as per the Bitcoin price. If the Bitcoin price is doing good, that means the whole the cryptocurrency space is doing good, and the Bitcoin is down, then everything else there is a lot of negativity. So I'm happy to see the Bitcoin going up once again. Let's talk about a little bit about other projects. So Ethereum is doing fantastic, up by 3%. Bitcoin Cash touching $3,000. Litecoin 284. Cardano doing wonderful. I think it should touch $1 in a couple of months. IOTA doing good. You have DAS at 121. So as you can see here, 10%, 3%, 6%. Everything is green right now. NEM is something that I'm really looking at very closely. EOS has come back to $10, and the quantum is $58. So yes, look at this right hand side green. I love this moment, right? There are a couple of them which are in red, but most of them in green. So this is a very positive signal. This is what we wanted to see. So happy to be here, and I hope that it grows. Right now, coming back to some news and sentiments around the globe. So with BitPay, as most of you guys know, BitPay was the first firm to provide the merchant solution, payment solution for the merchant. Sorry. So if you're a merchant, you can actually install BitPay and you can start accepting payments in Bitcoin. Now, what they have said now is that they will not process Bitcoin payments below $100 due to high miner fee, which is a news in itself, because when you are talking about $100, the fee itself is about $10-15. It's basically a point of concern. So I think this is the decision they have taken considering the high transaction fee. So they will only support any transaction at merchant point of sale if it is above $100 above $100. However, if you're using BitPay wallet and you want to send some Bitcoins to your friends on another BitPay wallet, that is still possible. This is only applicable for the merchant payment, not for the individual. So this is the one thing that I want to cover. Of course, this also signifies that how we badly need a scaling solution on Bitcoin network. We really need that, because this is something that people will not be happy with. So if Bitcoin has to be used as a payment method, then really it has to scale up. So something to consider, something to think about. Now, this news is something which I can very much relate to India. So South Korean government concerned with the scams in Bitcoin market and fake exchanges, which is pretty much common in India actually. So what they have to say is fraudulent exchanges. Yes, there are many fraudulent exchanges which are not well known. They don't have a customer support. Nobody knows them. And of course, this is the lesson that we should always take away, that when it comes to exchange, when it comes to even using a wallet, you should always use some trusted sources and fake exchanges and scam. So in terms of scam, right? So what they did, so let me just read out this incident, which is very similar to what I'm looking in India right now. So what they said is there is this exchange, right? Which is called this one. So last week, several fake cryptocurrency exchanges were exposed to the local Bitcoin community and financial author. One of the fake exchange was BitKRX, now named after Korea exchange KRX. So there is an exchange in Korea which is called KRX. This guy came up with another brand name called BitKRX, and which is turned out to be a fake exchange. So this is obviously the KRX is set up by the National Stock Exchange, which is called KOSDAQ, and the BitKRX, which happens to be a fake exchange, which they copied the name KRX they just added like bit in front of KRX, so they made it BitKRX, which sounds very similar to KRX, and they opened up this market and they started their cheating people. See, this is how it looks. Their website looks. So let me show you what exactly I'm to tell you. So most of you know that sometime back the Indian government announced that they would be coming up with their own cryptocurrency, a national cryptocurrency that will be called as Lakshmi. Now if you Google Lakshmi today, right, Lakshmi coin, okay, let me just type Lakshmi coin. If you Google Lakshmi coin today, right, this is what you get. You get India's first digital currency. Now I know for the fact there has been no Lakshmi coin yet initiated by the government as yet. and then you look at this website. If you search, this is what you get. And of course, you see the Indian government may launch its own Indian currency. But however, if you look at this website, this is not even backed by the government. Isn't it quite evident that people are actually trying to use the name and trying to use the cheat people? Like, let's have a look at what this website is. So as you can see, Lakshmi Coin conference, they are holding some conference on 7th of February in Jaipur. As you can see here, book now. Educating seminars on different cryptocurrencies and Lakshmi Coin. We will release our white paper. They don't even have a white paper as yet, right? And first of all, they don't even know who. There is no team behind it, right? I don't see who is building, what are they building, and so what they claim to be is that look at this. So if I play this video, it doesn't talk about anything as to what exactly are they doing. What is the project about? I mean, we have on this channel, we have gone through so many ICOs. What do they tell about the project? What are they building up and things like that? But in this video, there is nothing like that. Frauds detected. They also claim that these are the websites which are, so like there are one lakshmicoin.tech, lakshmicoin.net, bitlakshmi.info. They say that they are fake. I first of all, I question their genuinity itself. I mean, before you call anybody else fake. So basically to prove that they are not fake, but obviously what are you trying to do? Now if you look at any of the link here, this takes you to some article on Economic Times linked, which talks about the government owned cryptocurrency Lakshmi, not obviously not this Lakshmi coin. So these are the things which are happening. Just to give you a reference, I wanted to give you a reference, because a lot of people in India will still think that okay, Lakshmi coin is something that India's own project, and let's go ahead, let's buy. But just to give you a heads up, it doesn't look like to me that it's an ICO or it's backed by it is a centralized currency, or what exactly. It's not very clear. Or what is the white paper? Say they're saying white paper will be coming up. They will have this seminar. They will be selling people their own cryptocurrencies. If it is an ICO, what are you trying to build? Who is the team involved? So guys, I believe you got the point that I'm trying to make here. So these are the kind of scams which are already happening in India. Then this news is very similar to that. In South Korea, one of the exchange opened up an exchange with the similar name of KRX and trying to cheat people. So definitely guys, be aware of whom you are giving your Bitcoin and Ethereum to. Don't get involved into any such fakes. At the same time, this brings me to security tools. So one of the investors, how to identify ICO scams. This is a beautiful article which I want to leave the link in the description below. Go ahead and read this. And this actually, this news actually talks about notorious ICO scams, couple of them, right? So OPair was an ICO that was in 2016. They raised about $1 million fake startup, and they ran away with people's money. They are nowhere right now. You don't find them on coinmarketcap.com. There was a similar ICO called BitCat, which actually turned out to be a scam. They scammed worth some 5 million, as you can see, $5 million. And then there was authorship. They raised ERC20 token. That's what they said. ICO raised about 1 million. The token name was called ATS, and they are nowhere. So these are the few. I mean, we recently come across one more which actually ran away with people's money. We already know about ATS in India. So yeah, the many scams right now in the name of ICO. That is why it is very important that everything that looks good on the paper and promises a lot of project is not really true. So you really have to be very careful in identifying the ICOs and putting your money in. So this is just a small guideline that they've given how to invest in ICO safely. They have spoken about pursue the white paper. What's the white paper? Examine the website social accounts. I mean, on that website there is no social account. There is no LinkedIn profile of the people who are building up. Look for endorsement. Are they advertising too much? And verify the code auditing, which is done on the GitHub. So definitely I would urge you guys to not only keep yourself aware of these things, but also make others aware as well about these scams which are happening in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in the name of cryptocurrency, which are not even a cryptocurrencies, right? Or rather you can call it a fake cryptocurrency. So that's one thing that I wanted to cover. Let's go ahead and check what exactly happening. So one of the foreign exchange strategists warns against buying Bitcoin during the price drop. Now the normal saying is that buy the dip, right? So like last week, the price went from 19 to 12,000, and the general belief into cryptocurrency in the Bitcoin market is that when the market crashes, that's the time you buy. And of course, most people do follow that rule, most people don't follow that rule. But one of the strategists says that this is not the right tool, because he is of a belief that Bitcoin is a bubble. And that is when you make a statement like this, that when the strategy of buying a Bitcoin when the price is least is again a mistake, but you don't know, because you don't know whether the price will still come to zero. So again, this is for people who have not probably understood Bitcoin, or maybe they don't still have a belief in Bitcoin, or and are of opinion that Bitcoin is not the future. So said that don't buy the dip, that's not the right decision. Yeah, something to think about. Another one is Morgan Stanley again. So these are all coming up from the traditional investors, traditional companies. The traditional companies have always been against Bitcoin. They have been speaking everything against Bitcoin, right? Look at this. So Bitcoin value is equal to zero. That's what Morgan Stanley says, that it's a flawed argument. It's Bitcoin value will go to zero. So again, I'm not saying that it would not go, it would go to 3 lakh. I'm just keeping updated about the different opinions that the guys have. Obviously, my recommendation has always been that always try and diversify in Bitcoin and other beautiful projects that you have already, so that your risk gets reduced, right? So that's something that I always see. Look at this. So it's interesting because there are a lot of assets which their value is just based on supply and demand. So the argument for this guy is that the Bitcoin is not backed by anything, but Bitcoin is backed by mathematics. Bitcoin is backed by trust, and there are a lot many assets in the world that exist which is backed by demand and supply, and there is nothing wrong with that. And Mark Cuban, who was a billionaire investor in Bitcoin, they have said that I have thought that some through Innetian based section Bitcoin is the same thing. It's value based on supply and demand. So somebody like Mark Cuban has said something to think of. The traditional investors, the traditional companies always gone against Bitcoin, calling it a bubble. Nothing new. We have been hearing it for a very, very long time now. Okay, so coming back to Venezuela, the country where people are actually depending on the Bitcoin for their real transaction. They don't have any other medium, and they can use dollar or they can use Bitcoin. Recently, the Venezuelan president announced that he is coming up with the oil-based cryptocurrencies called Petro, and he has an opinion that I announced the creation of superintendence of Venezuelan currency and its relationship with the world. I create a special superintendence to govern the direction of the Petro from Venezuela and the world. We are opening the doors to modernity. Venezuela once again becomes the showcase of the world. So once upon a time, Venezuela was in a very good economic condition, contrary to what it is right now. So he just dreams that the dream of commanders. We are going to materialize it, and we are going to turn it into the first cryptocurrency backed by Venezuela oil reserve certified internationally. So he definitely dreams that we will get back that economic power once again through this cryptocurrency, which is backed on oil. So of course, this cryptocurrency is different because this is backed by some real asset. So can't really call it a centralized, or I'm not really sure whether that can be manipulated. Right. Coming back to the adoption of the Swiss online bank, the Switzerland has been one of the countries which has been very, very pioneer in adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Their banks and everything, right? So Swiss online bank, one of the bank in Switzerland, has launched a Bitcoin product. What is this Bitcoin product all about? So as we all know that Bitcoin is a very, very volatile market, and for somebody who is just entering this space, it can be very, very risky and fearful. They wouldn't enter this market because 19,000, 12,000, what are you even talking about? So they're coming up with a project. The bank itself is launching a Bitcoin project, which would be called a Bitcoin exchange fund or something. Designed as an exchange tradable certificate, right? Over here you can see that that now the active Bitcoin certificate reduces the exposure to market volatility by enabling an investor to move their holdings between Bitcoin and US dollar. Now, the reason I'm sharing this information with you right now, because the Switzerland's bank itself is designing a product which is built on Bitcoin, which is of a significant value, while other governments are of a opinion that let's not even do anything with Bitcoin, right? So that's the reason of sharing, which is a wonderful news in terms of adoption. Hopefully other banks will also do something like this, and hopefully other governments will also adopt. Let's look at what is happening in Israel. So Israel is coming up with their own cryptocurrency, right? So Israel banks central consider the digital currency for instant payment, and when they do that, they might just ban the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And that's, I'm thinking, how can even they do that? Because essentially it's not possible to stop Bitcoin transactions, because it goes on the network. It can be done from one phone to the other. You really don't need anybody's permission to do a Bitcoin transaction, because it's a decentralized, right? So Israeli regulator wants a stock market ban on companies that are based on cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So it seems that what Israel wants is they want people to use their own cryptocurrencies, and they want to ban all the exchanges which are trading in Bitcoin. Well, how successful will that be? Only time can tell. And of course, the decentralized currencies will always have more value compared to the centralized currency, like let it be from Israel, from Russia, or from India, or from any other country, right? So there is a difference between the centralized currencies and yeah. So before we talk on that, so I do want to give my opinion on what is the centralized. So these are national cryptocurrencies like that everybody has been talking about, like India has been talking about Lakshmi coin, Israel just spoke about their own cryptocurrency, Russia spoke about ruble. So here's what I think. Now, the only reason the cryptocurrencies have value today, have trust today, because of its decentralized nature. Now the Bitcoin has gone up to $15,000 or 19,000, or it will keep growing up because of its decentralized nature, because people know that this cannot be manipulated, this is not controlled by one person, and so that is the trust is definitely only on the mathematics. But what happens to the Israel or Russia or any other cryptocurrency which is backed by national? They don't have that same kind of trust, because it's a nationalized. There is one point of issuance, right? I think this is where the game will be played. So people would rather go for a decentralized than for a centralized. I mean, both can exist. I'm not saying one will not exist. Both can exist. But here is what I think. The decentralized one will have larger value, more trust than a centralized. So I think centralized will have its own uses in some of the government applications, things like that. But I think the decentralized currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other projects will have more value in terms of trust from people, in terms of adoption from people, compared to the national currencies. That's what my opinion is. Definitely want to hear what do you think about this thought. The last one, the Winklevoss brother twins, right, will not sell if Bitcoin price even hits 380,000, which is a huge news, right? So now, so here is a small story of what happened with Winklevoss brothers. So after the successful exit from the Facebook, right, so they were also a part of the Facebook, which they claimed that the idea was stolen by Mark Zuckerberg, and they exit the Facebook with about 11 million valuation or something like that, right? Yeah, 45 million. They received about 45 million from the settlement of Facebook founder, right? So they received 45 million. And they put about the Winklevoss settled in a Facebook share by 2013. Winklevoss amassed a fortune of 300 million as the shares of Facebook skyrocketed, right? So they received about 300 million in 2003 from the Facebook. They put that money in Bitcoin at the rate of $10, as you can see, during a time in which only a handful of investors such as Roger Ver, Charlie Shrem had invested in the cryptocurrencies. So these guys are really old. Roger Ver and Charlie Shrem were one of the first investors into Bitcoin, and he bought it at a $10 price, right? And purchased about 120,000 Bitcoin at a price of $11 valuation. And today the same bitcoins are worth 1.68 billion. The twins have netted the twins profit of, so of course they were declared the first bitcoin billionaires officially on the newspapers and across the media. They are of an opinion that, not only of an opinion that bitcoin will go to this price, right, 380,000, but also that they, even if it reaches that price, they would not selling off. Not only that, they are also building up an ecosystem within the bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They have opened up an exchange called Gemini, which is based in US. As a regulated cryptocurrency exchange by US government itself. Gemini has continued to serve professional traders and casual investors in the US market, accounting to a large portion of USD to BTC trading. So Coinbase, after Coinbase, Gemini is on number 2. Gemini is owned and operated by the Winklevoss brothers. They have not only accumulated good number of bitcoins, but they are also supporting the ecosystem, becoming the first bitcoin billionaires, and saying that they will not gonna sell bitcoin ever, even at such a big price. So the question here is, will bitcoin reach this price, and how soon? That's interesting, right? So do let me know your comments in the comment box below, come down below. And this was the news for the day today. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll be making a video on Verge, what exactly Verge is all about, and a couple of other coins that I think have a great potential in 2018. So watch out for that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, enjoy, have fun.